Let's explain the uncaught reference error. Process is not defined error you often encounter when using Webpack 5 in a browser environment. This error arises because process is a Node.js global object, not available in browsers. Webpack, while powerful for bundling code, sometimes includes Node.js specific modules in your browser bundles, causing this conflict. 1. The core problem is that your Webpack build is inadvertently including code that relies on process. This often happens when you use libraries or modules that directly or indirectly depend on Node.js environment variables or APIs. 2. To resolve this, you need to prevent these Node.js dependencies from making it into your browser build. There are several common strategies. First, identify the offending module. Using your browser's developer tools, usually by pressing F12, look at the stack trace of the error to see where process is being accessed. This will pinpoint the library causing the issue. 3. Once identified, you have a few options. If the module offers a browser-specific build or has a configuration option to exclude Node.js dependencies, use that. Many libraries are smart enough to recognize the environment and adapt accordingly. 4. The write single quote webpack.define plugin write single quote is your next powerful tool. This plugin lets you define global variables during the build process. You can use it to define write single quote process.env write single quote as an empty object, effectively replacing the Node.js process object with a harmless empty one, essentially telling code that relies on it to gracefully handle its absence. You'd add this to your Webpack config file like so. Plugins, new webpack.define plugin, quote process.env, light. 5. If the above doesn't work or isn't suitable, you might need to use a more aggressive approach, like conditional imports or code splitting. This involves checking the environment, browser versus Node.js, and only importing the necessary code for each environment. You'll use JavaScript's type of operator to detect the presence of process and conditionally import or execute the right code. 6. Consider using a package like Webpack Node Externals. This plugin helps exclude Node.js modules from your client-side bundle. It automatically identifies and ignores dependencies that only work in Node.js, effectively preventing them from being included in your browser build. Add it to your Webpack Configurations Externals option. 7. Always keep your dependencies up to date. Newer versions of libraries often include improvements that address these kinds of compatibility issues. 8. Carefully review your write single quote package.json write single quote and examine your dependencies. Understand what each one does and whether it requires a Node.js environment. This proactive approach will help prevent similar problems in the future. Remember to rebuild your Webpack bundle after making any configuration changes. The key is to understand how your code interacts with the environment and take steps to ensure browser compatibility.